let's just go back to Andrew Cuomo. This was not even 2 weeks ago. This is Sunday. Jeez. At the Hampton Synagogue in the Hamptons, which, of course, if you're not from New York, you may not know, the Hamptons are not part of New York City. Now, there's probably a lot of people who go out there. This is a synagogue where many people, like Ron DeSantis, a lot of Republicans go and visit to raise money. Let's just play this one clip of what Cuomo said that made a little bit of news. Maybe his internal polling showed that he lost the Jewish vote in New York City to someone that he seems to think is sort of anti-Semitic. But go ahead.
Who had never voted before, I lost by 100,000 votes, 400,000 to 500,000. The young people who came out, they were socialists and they were pro-Palestinian. And I would wager that in that primary, more than 50% of the Jewish people voted for Mandami.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Congrats. And I imagine a significant portion of Jewish people voted for Brad Lander, and maybe Cuomo came in third or fourth amongst Jewish people. But here he is on with Andrew Ross Sorkin and basically just saying like, yeah, it was all not just pro-Palestine people, but now it's anti-Israel people, which presumably would involve over 50% of the Jewish population in New York City. Huh.
Stay in this. What do you need to do differently? What can you do differently than you were doing before?
Yeah, good question. First, frankly, in the primary, I made some strategic mistakes. I had a big lead, so I basically played prevent defense. And I wasn't aggressive enough in the campaign. I didn't debunk his ideas. I didn't put forth my affirmative agenda strongly enough. Then on election day, we had an explosion of these under 30-year-old Bernie socialist type, anti-Israel type voters that
now they're anti-Israel
had seen before in history.
Can you pause it? Like, I read that quote the other day when we touched on this from one of his advisors that spoke to CNN and was saying how Zohran was focused on the cost of living. And this dude was running on anti-Semitism, on, like, not anti-Semitism, but conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. This is the problem. And, like, but because it didn't work in the Democratic primary, he still needs to appeal to the same big money donors who are going to be listening to that on the financial news network and be like, you're right, the kids are crazy these days. These pro-Palestine whippersnappers, they don't know what really Hamas is like and what the Muslims and the Arabs are like. I mean,
and the tattoos. Tattoos. They all wear tattoos.
The question was, what would you do differently? And he's like, well, I just need to lean harder on how these people are anti-Israel.
Do the same thing. So he's doing this just without the Democrat, without the D next to his name, and appealing to the exact same donors and asking for money. But you had quotes from people that showed how soft the donor support was for him at the beginning. There was somebody who was quoted saying, anonymously, I gave $250K to Andrew Cuomo, but that's just because I thought he would win, and I wanted to get some favor and curry favor with him because he is like Trump.
It was the founder of LimeWire that's
there
now doing some sort of tech thing. But yeah, he's like, look, don't mistake my giant donation of $250,000 or whatever it was for enthusiasm.
No, it was a bribe.
I was gonna have to work with him.
Buying access.
Right, and so those folks are not going to be around for Trump, Freudian, for Cuomo to tap into those resources again because he lost the primary. You lost by 12 points. You didn't just make a strategic mistake. You were rejected by the people of this city.
Hey, I was too good. And then all of a sudden, all of these kids came out to smoke pot and vote for Bernie.
His super PAC broke records in terms of spending in New York City, and he's acting like he played prevent defense? Are you joking?
We doing the next clip now, or we want to finish this one out?
I'll finish this one up.
Year-old Bernie socialist type, anti-Israel type voters that no one had seen before in history, the proportion that they voted. So That's what happened in the primary. We
Well, it's
now go
not
to a
my
general.
fault.
The general is a different audience. It's a different electorate. It's bigger. It's more moderate. It's more Queens, outer borough. You have independents. You have Republicans voting. So it's a totally different ballgame in the general.
Okay, play the math out, though, because we have a lot of folks.
Okay, so he's going for Republican voters are going to appreciate him more than Democratic ones. Incidentally, he's running on his father being a Democratic sort of icon. That's, so it's both. I'm appealing to Republicans, but my entire brand is that I am the heir to a Democratic icon.
This
like
is
RFK.
This is a broad pattern too.
Yeah.
You see Jacob Fry. I mean, not India Walton up in Buffalo. Then Myron, what's his name, ran as independent. Jacob Fry lost the DFL endorsement in Minneapolis the other week. Now he is appealing to Republican media and folks to try to get his sort of, I don't know, centrist, not party official endorsement on these. They're anti-democracy.
I mean, he's right that the general election is different, but it was around 1 million people who turned out in the mayoral primary. It was more than 2021. But that is a third, I think, of registered Democrats in New York City. So good luck. Like, he's talking about this as if the Democratic votes that he needs to win over are he's abandoning that more broadly. Like, 2/3 of people who are registered Democrats, they're not going to be motivated to go out for Andrew Cuomo, like if this is the only pitch he has for them, basically.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
he
his
presents
pitch is I'm
firm,
going to
strong
talk to
agenda.
Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's hear his firm agenda.
Oh.
Affirmative message beyond the experience piece for what you can do to the city.
Yeah, look, I think the problem with New York City has been twofold. Number one, you've had an incompetent government. Basically, since Mayor Bloomberg, that's 12 years, where you just haven't had a competent mayor in charge. Second, in this city, you've had this shift to far-left politics that has paralyzed the government. So it's anti-development. You can't build. It takes 4 years
Abundance.
to get a building permit in New York City. I built LaGuardia Airport in 4 years, right? This anti-development, bureaucracy, incompetence, anti-public safety, defund the police, leftist movement. And I used to say when I was HUD secretary, look, a city is either growing or it is dying, right? And New York is all about development. It's all about growth. It's about pro-business. It's about entrepreneurship.
But how much do you worry that that's not what the city is about right now? I mean, what is this past vote
Posit, I
about
just want
Mandami
to
say about the
reiterate
city?
that his affirmative message is people have been incompetent. That's what he's offering is not being incompetent, according to him. And incidentally, he doesn't have Bloomberg's money. When Bloomberg ran into any type of issues, he threw his personal money at it. But
Also, there have been 2 subway murders this year. There were 10 last year. Crime is down precipitously in New York City. It's the fewest murders recorded since 1960 for the first half of this year. Violent crime down in New York City. Property crime down in New York City. Like, can we have one anchor that acknowledges the reality when you have every politician who's like center left to right saying these false things about crime statistics in this city?
Also, first of all, it took 6 years for LaGuardia stuff. Like, that was a long time. But also, does anybody that actually lives here, which excludes Andrew Cuomo, think that the problem is that we can't build stuff here? There's new buildings up every day.
There have been-
It's completely changed since I've moved here 12 years ago.
Within a 7-minute walk from our office, there is probably 5,000 new apartments.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I'm not being facetious.
The problem is they're all luxury.
And they're all empty because they're being used as speculative assets. And when he's talking about it's a growth problem, no, we have all of these empty apartments, particularly in the summer, like where people aren't here. They're summering away and they have these, they should be being taxed for every month that they are vacant. So that funds the rest of our housing in this city.
And we are
Big
completely
creaky
letting,
one.
We're letting them remake the skyline and make it look like Mordor. And again, like you telling me that the city couldn't actually build housing in a more applicable way than having these giant sort of like snow globes in the sky where people can use them as investment assets more than actual housing. Like that's what it's a joke.
Dude, none of you are getting on Squawk Box with this.
Right now, I mean, what does this past vote about Mandami say about the city? What does it say about the Democratic Party? Just by the way, the big shift in the way the Democratic Party across the country has moved. I mean, look, you were supported and endorsed by the Clintons. For whatever, for better or worse, it often feels that the Clintons are now out of favor. It feels that the Democratic Party is a different party today.
No, Andrew, there's no doubt this is a microcosm for what's going on across the nation. And I think with President Trump, you've had this far-right movement, and now you have this corresponding extreme left movement. I don't think either are productive, frankly. But Mandami basically runs as a socialist. Not basically, he runs as a socialist, right? And not a dress-up socialist. He's a genuine socialist. Sold everything is free education, free food, free this, free that.
By the way, just said there was an article that just came out that says that where he said capitalism is theft.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to say.
Anti-capitalism. And he has been. It's not just for this campaign. He's purely a socialist.
Do you believe there are enough Democrats?
Can you pause it? I'm sorry, but it's just like they're doing the Fox News grandma and grandpa fear appeal, but for the 700,000 moderate Republicans that might be tuning into CNBC to check on their retirement portfolios.
You should check CNBC's ratings. We're talking 10 to tens of thousands of people.
I should say, like, there are conference rooms in like Lower Manhattan in New York City that have this on, and there are a few brokers that are nodding to each other as they hear this.
They're going to cut to a commercial where Tom Selleck tries to sell gold after this.
Yeah.
I believe that capitalism is not theft in the city.
In the city and in the nation, because this is a much bigger issue for the Democratic Party.
You're exactly right. First of all, you can't have a socialist city in a capitalist nation. That does not work, right? You can't have a city where you say everything is free. We're going to have hyper tax wealthier people and expect them to stay here, right? They'll move. They'll leave. They have been leaving, right?
Good.
Especially post-COVID, they're more mobile. So that's what he is selling. Now, he's a smooth salesman, and he's got slick slogans, freeze the rent, and fast free buses, and, politics has become so superficial now, and my fault, my campaign didn't really push him on it, and the Middle East issue was very big with those under 30 voters. So that's what happened in the primary. I do not believe in the general election you can say.
The fact is that this capital flight thing is largely a myth. People don't leave because they're getting taxed 2% more on money they make over $1 million. The best quote from the stories written on this were like, I could move to Florida, but then the problem is I'm living in Florida.
Right.
People live in New York City for a reason. And as far as like a socialist city in a capitalist country, he redid LaGuardia Airport. He should Google who LaGuardia Airport is named after and find out what that guy did in this city.
Here's an excerpt from a Barron's magazine. This is quoting the economist John Kenneth Galbraith, who called Mamdani's plan a sensible approach and appealingly realistic. What does he know compared to Cuomo? But he says, Alfredo LaGuardia, a socialist and Republican, not a typo, mayor of New York from 34 to 46, who defeated Democratic Tammany Hall machine candidate. LaGuardia, nicknamed Little Flower, was 5 feet 2 inches in his Oxfords. He's also effective and much loved. I recall my parents' faces lighting up. They were hardly socialists when they told me how he read comics to children over the radio during a newspaper strike. LaGuardia built parks, playgrounds, subways, and an airport, and played a role in expanding public housing, overseeing the creation of the New York City Housing Authority. He also supported taxes on luxury goods and graduated income tax for those earning more than $100,000. I don't actually know if LaGuardia was like literally a member of a socialist party, but that is an agenda that is more closer to Zohran's than it is Cuomo's.
Well,
100%.
It's interesting that you bring up the New York City Housing Authority, because I had meant to mention this. There was an article in City Limits from 4 days ago where they did an analysis of how Zohran specifically targeted public housing developments, and he turned out way more voters in some of these public housing developments than previously had happened. So, he increased over Wiley and Garcia's support in all of these kind of different NYCHA precincts. Basically every single time he increased turnout. So that's part of why this whole narrative too about him just being the product of affluent white Brooklynites does not match the reality. He built a multiracial coalition across different income thresholds.
And I will just note, although he was more of a progressive Republican, LaGuardia did run on a socialist nomination in 1922. So there you go.
Let's just cap this off by an interview with Richie Torres, who's blocked everybody in this room from looking at his tweets just because.
Sam didn't have to ask us if we were blocked by him to know that either.
Yeah.
No, well, I think he group blocked us a year ago.
He's very sensitive. I think we made fun of the fact that he was bitching and moaning that he couldn't get matches on dating apps because he's such a Zionist, which was really funny.
This is a guy who the Harris campaign made the mistake of sending to Michigan for whatever. The desperation to make this guy the face of the Democratic Party is stunning. I've never quite seen anything quite like this. They are trying to make something of him, and it just is not working because I think fundamentally, I'm starting to get the suspicion that they don't particularly respect him and think that he's legitimate or has any staying power. First of all, his political instrument, his senses as to what to do politically seem completely off. And he bet big on Cuomo, and it looks like he may have made a mistake in multiple ways.
Endorsed Andrew Cuomo pretty early on. Yeah.
I knew he would win my district, and he won by more than 20 points. And for all his imperfections, I
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to say, everybody thought that he was going to win that district because his name recognition was very, very high. His approval rating, very, very high. He had focused and had long-time relationships with Black clergy in this city. So that you don't need to be particularly adept about that. But Torres went all in, and, well...
Andrew Cuomo pretty early on. Yeah.
I knew he would win my district, and he won by more than 20 points. And for all his imperfections, I genuinely thought he was effective as governor, right? He delivered marriage equality when others before him failed miserably. And he was a great builder of New York, between Mario Cuomo Bridge, Moynihan Train Hall, LaGuardia Airport. I mean, these are... Javits Center. These are staggering infrastructural achievements. So I endorsed him for those reasons.
And the knock on him was that during the campaign, he was not visible.
Yeah.
He wasn't out there. Did you interact with him at all during the campaign? It was a pretty long campaign. I mean, did you talk to him after you endorsed him?
I endorsed him back in February, and I have not spoken to him since February.
To this minute?
I have not spoken to him since February. The mayoral candidate to call me after the primary was not Andrew Cuomo, it was Zohran Mamdani.
He called you?
Yes.
Even though you decidedly did not support him?
Yes.
Did he ask for your support?
No, I think he expressed interest in just a relationship going forward.
I mean,
but if you had told me that the first mayoral candidate to call me would be Zohran Mamdani rather than Andrew Cuomo, I would have had trouble believing it.
I'm picking my job right now. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that's what shocks you, Dana Bash? Anyway, but
They're
like,
so lost.
I just ignored a bunch of pictures of kids in Gaza, but this is really blowing my mind.
it shocks my conscience that Andrew would do such a thing.
Let's be clear what this says.
Yeah.
A, Andrew Cuomo doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody on the ground, even one of his like early supporters. B, he realized that Richie Torres is not an asset in any way. I mean, there's an opportunity for Cuomo apparently to use this rising star in the Democratic Party, but he knows that there's no value in a guy like Richie Torres. He saw what happened when they sent him to Michigan. And so you got Richie Torres both sort of like operating on what he thought was strictly a transactional situation, right? Showing absolutely no leadership, choosing Cuomo largely because he knew just the polling said he's going to win this district. So I don't want to get on the wrong side of that. But providing absolutely no value to Cuomo outside of that endorsement. I mean, it's a reflection on Cuomo and it's a reflection on Torres.
Well, I don't know if I believe that Cuomo has that assessment of Torres. I mean, like, he still doesn't seem to have a great grasp of what is good politics in the city overall. Like, Torres is a creation of this very cynical consultant class that just sees young man. Okay, let's move forward. Young person who will repeat the ideas or like the viewpoints of very wealthy, often Zionists, but also just like financial
Bitcoin
people in any industry. He's like has a for sale sign around his neck.
Yeah,
like
it's for sale.
In terms of just like, obviously for political donations is what I mean. So the point is just like I just think Cuomo is just so arrogant and lazy that he just didn't think to even call anybody. And Zohran Mamdani is interested in actually governing the city. So he's going to put aside past like horrible things that Richie Torres has said about him because he actually wants to make the city function and is interested in public service.
Also, I am pro change the name back to Tappan Zee Bridge.
That's cool.
Fair enough.
What I find fascinating is like there's the thing with he hasn't called Torres. There's this thing that happened during the campaign where Jessica Ramos endorsed Cuomo, and then Cuomo's response to that was, "She is endorsing me. I am not endorsing her." And what the signal that this is sending, not only to like good progressives like Lander or whoever, but also to the abject careerist climbers like Torres, that actually there's nothing there for me either. Like I need somebody that can actually speak to people, not somebody who has this sort of corrupt connections. If I want to stay empowered as an individual.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.